Hey everyone, David here, and today we are going to be talking about Linux. Linux is one of those things that is very intimidating until it isn't. When people start using Linux for the first time, it feels like going into a different world because you see a blinking cursor and you're not even sure what to type and what to do. But something very interesting happens after a little bit of practice. After using Linux for a while, things will become a lot less about memorizing commands, and Linux will start being an environment that you can use in order to understand how systems really work under the hood. And also, if you want to work in cybersecurity, Linux will be tremendously valuable to you because Linux is everywhere. So for this video, there's 3 topics that I want to cover. The first one will be what Linux for hackers actually means. Second one will be how you can structure your learning journey with Linux. And finally, the third one is how Linux actually becomes part of your work gradually if you want to work in cybersecurity. So let's just get started. First of all, the phrase Linux for hackers can be a little bit misleading, and I think there's even books with that title. And the reason why I say that is because some people might think that Linux for hackers just means that you install one of those offensive security Linux distributions like Parrot OS or Kali Linux, and then you can just use all the hacking tools and then you're good to go. You've learned Linux. But unfortunately, that's not how things really work, right? Linux for hackers, or just in cybersecurity in general, it's more about learning how systems really work. And with Linux itself, it's an operating system. So it's not just about running commands or running certain tools. You really have to understand how that system works. And you're probably asking, so what would that be? That would be things like how are files stored, how do permissions work, what processes are running in the background, and even how to troubleshoot when things are not going as you would like them to be. And I could go on and on with this because there's so many things you can learn. But the key here is that you need to understand that all of those things that I just mentioned will appear everywhere in cybersecurity. Whether you're a penetration testing, or you're an incident responder, or you work in a SOC, or even work as a malware analyst. So the key here is that instead of just running a lot of commands and tools blindly, what you really want to do is to be able to leverage Linux as a tool that empowers you to understand how all of these things work under the hood. Another thing that is relevant to touch on is that some beginners, when they start learning Linux, they think about it as a giant list of commands that they need to memorize. And in my opinion, a better way to approach it or to look at it is that you want to think about it as layers, because every single layer will make it easier for you to build onto the next one. So let's just start with layer number 1, which is navigating the file system. And this is pretty much straightforward, right? You want to understand like how files are stored, how to navigate from one directory to the other, how to locate files, and how to read them and even inspect them. And I know what you're thinking, this sounds very basic, but trust me, this is very, very important. Because if you can confidently navigate these systems and know where things live, trust me, everything from that point will become much easier for you. And unfortunately, a lot of beginners skip this step. But in my opinion, spending some extra time here really makes a difference as you're building the foundation for all of the things that are coming next. Now, layer 2 is reading the output from the commands that you're running like an analyst would. Because cybersecurity involves a lot of observation and analysis. Trust me, it doesn't matter the role that you're in, you're always observing or analyzing something. And I can give you some examples. Just think about this. You're constantly reading information about systems. You can be analyzing scripts, code, logs, or processes, configuration files, command outputs again. And trust me, I could go on and on again. But the key here is that Linux helps you learn how to process a lot of information quickly. And instead of staring at a massive wall of text, you start understanding how to filter and extract what matters and brings value to you. Now, layer 3 is where learning Linux starts becoming a real lesson for cybersecurity concepts as well. Because just think about it, every single folder or file has some permissions to it, and those permissions are what tells the system who can actually read the file, modify it, and even execute it. And not only that, those permissions will then apply to the owner, the group, and all the other users in groups in the system. And if this sounds confusing when you hear it for the first time or when you see it, it's totally normal. But again, you learn by doing. Just think about it. You try to execute a file, and then you get one of those error messages that just says permissions denied. And then instead of getting frustrated with the error, just think about it. Well, now I understand that for some reason I cannot access or execute this file. And those errors are actually teaching you something very important, because permissions will tell you what a system allows and what it prevents. And this becomes extremely valuable either if you want to work on the defensive side of cybersecurity, but also on the offensive side of cybersecurity, especially if you're trying to do some privilege escalation sort of thing. But let's leave that topic for a separate video. And then we have layer number 4, which is all about processes and services. And this is important because there's always processes and services running in the background when it comes to Linux. And learning about those processes will help you understand things like what started this process, what sort of services are running currently on this system, or even what programs are listening on the network. And once you start understanding these things, something very interesting happens. Again, you start thinking like an attacker and a defender, because you start seeing some of the things that are usually there, and you start developing this notion of patterns. And if something comes out of those patterns and you see it as an anomaly, you start understanding that, wait, what is this processing doing, and why does it have these permissions, and why is it that this script is being run with so high privileges? And that's when things get really interesting. But let's not get too excited about that, because we still have 2 layers to go. Ooh, and for layer number 5 we have networking, and this was tough even for me, I have to admit it here, because a lot of those concepts in the beginning are very intimidating and difficult to understand because they can be very abstract. But the key here is that when you see those concepts working on the system itself, not on the theory or on the book where you're actually trying to study these things, but when you're actually trying to learn by doing, that's the best approach here, because things become much more clear. And you can trust me on that. And with Linux in specific, you can start learning things like what IPs is this system using, or what connections are currently active, or what ports are listening for traffic. So all of these things are extremely valuable, because instead of just memorizing networking concepts, you're seeing them in real life in practice, and you're learning how to investigate them directly. So that is extremely valuable, trust me, because those are the things that security professionals do every day, regardless of their role. Again, you could be in a SOC, you could be on incident response, you could be on the offensive security side of things as a pen tester as well. These are things that you will do every single time. Networking is very, very, very important, so please do not skip this layer. And finally, we have our last layer in our Linux learning journey, which is shell scripting. And please don't be scared by this. Instead of thinking about shell scripting as, do I have to be a developer? Do I have to learn how to code? Think about it as just automation. If there are things that you're doing like every single day and you're doing them manually, there's probably a way that you could automate that with a script. And that's exactly the goal. You want to be able to automate those small tasks so you can improve your efficiency, you boost your productivity, and you just become faster at getting things done. And one thing that I will say is that most experienced professionals really leverage this skill. It's not that they know more commands than you, and it's not that makes them be faster and more efficient than you are as a beginner, but it's that they understand where they can leverage all of these skills, and automation is a big one. So make sure you do not skip this one as well, because you can leverage automation to automate a lot of the things that we just discussed in the past layer. So if you're just looping through files, if you're just processing command output, or even just running a lot of the same tasks every single day, well, that's where shell scripting will come into play to help you become way more efficient. Now, after you go through all of these layers, Linux will stop being something that you're learning, and it will become an environment that you're literally just familiar with. Now you will be able to do things like systems enumeration, network scanning, file inspection, log analysis, OSINT collection, what else? Traffic capturing, and yeah, just testing stuff in your own lab. And at that stage, Linux will probably just become invisible to you, because now it's not that monster that it used to be when you just started, but instead it's just an environment that you now can just use to leverage your skills and keep expanding your knowledge. Now, before we go, I have one last point. Where should you learn all of this Linux theory, and where should you put those things in practice? In my opinion, let me just tell you, I think that you should always go with learn by doing. Everything you need to know is, of course, in books, and you can read some blogs, and you can even see some videos, but that process might be a little bit slower than what you would like it to be, and also things will probably not stick as much than when you're actually doing it yourself. Because if you want to learn Linux, using Linux will be probably the best method and the fastest way to get to the level that you want to be. And so my recommendation to learn this would be to do labs that have guided command line labs and structure Linux fundamentals that you can follow along, and also repeatable exercises, because you need that repetition. That repetition is what will allow you to just absorb all the commands that you use for different use cases. And so keep that in mind. Learn by doing. And to help you with that, I'll just leave a bunch of links in the description below with a lot of labs that you can access on TryHackMe and practice your Linux skills and have tons of fun. All right, and that was it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, and if you would like more videos like this, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!